Denton, and I will be evaluating my project called Naked. So when you go into my folder, I have my contacts folder. Within here, I've got a range of documents which has helped me outline and also solidify my idea. So I've got a range of UAL proposals, however, the current updated one is this one here. Within here, I have spoken about the skills that I have acquired whilst being at Barnet and Southgate College, and also it has enhanced me to pursue creative advertising and also graphic design as my chosen career path and higher educational course as well. The second segment is what my project is and what it is about. So it is an advertising product. It is an awareness campaign on body confidence and body image issues. The promotional products that I will be doing alongside this is a photography exhibition and a website which will also feature an online forum. I said that I will be doing a spoken word poem which will accompany my video as well. I also outlined the targeted audience. This is the primary targeted audience. And the secondary targeted audience will be this age range here. A reason why I chosen to do two targeted audience, as I do believe my secondary targeted audience are parental roles who have had a child and just don't feel confident within the body that they do have now, for example. Alongside this, I've also outlined the similar products. So the similar products, well, primarily one of the similar products that I solely focused on was a Little Mix strip video, as it has a lot of code and conventions that I did employ when doing my own PSA ad. And I also spoke about the targeted audience for the following channels. So I do believe that my product would be shown on either BBC Three or even Vice. And I also spoke about the equipment that I intended to use. So I looked to use a DSLR camera, a camcorder, and a tripod. I did use the DSLR camera for the majority of my stills. However, I did use the DSLR camera when shooting because I didn't have enough battery, unfortunately, within the camcorder. Lastly, I spoke about the industry standard software that I'm intending to use as well. I use Lightroom, Photoshop, and GarageBand as well. I use Lightroom just to simply enhance the colors for the stills that I've taken. I didn't use Photoshop at all, actually. I thought I would be using Photoshop, but because my stills were absolutely amazing. I'm joking. No, because my stills didn't need any touch-ups. I didn't use Photoshop at all. And lastly, I spoke about how I'm intending to test out my ideas. So I said that I will be doing Vox Pop surveys and Instagram voting polls. Unfortunately, I didn't conduct any social experiments. I was looking to do this, but due to the short space of time frame I had, and also the problems that I was faced with, I was unable to do this. However, if I was to do this project again, I would definitely do a social experiment. So I have my bibliography here, and I have how I intend to record my process as well. I did enter my work into the Creative Conscience competition, so now I'm looking to get feedback from them, see if my work is being shortlisted, or see if I actually won the competition in the videography and photography segment. So fingers crossed for that. Yeah, so if you go into the one-page proposal, in the one-page proposal, this is a short, brief document which outlines everything which I have stated within the UAL project proposal as well. However, the difference is it just has a quick, catchy slogan in it. Within my pitch is a document which has the target audience profile, the target audience proposed, and the secondary audience. As I said before, I have two targeted audience as well. Also, I spoke about the social grades and also the generational target audience. As I said, my secondary audience is parental roles, so I chose the Generation Z as X, to be my secondary audience. So my similar products, I have a range of similar products. I have got a promotional website which gave me a humongous insight on how to lay my website out and how to advertise my exhibition, which is now featured on the website that I have curated using Wix.com. The Little Mix video is one that I've focused on solely, as it had a massive element on how I should employ the sensitive topic, which is body image, and they use a creative way of having the humiliating and degrading words that the models were called on their bodies, and they wiped it off as well. I also spoke about the crew that I'm looking to use. Myself, I'm the director and also camera woman. Zion is the assistant camera woman, so when I am featured in the video, Zion's the camera woman. Also, Charlotte is was the lighting woman, because we did have a problem with natural light, so I did test out using the LED lights. However, it just didn't feel real, so we just scrapped that idea as a whole. The models, here are them. So Charlotte, Jade, Celine, Priscilla, Zion, and myself. Here are the industry standard software that I used. Unfortunately as well, I was looking to make a ticket on Photoshop, and also use Vistaprint as a printing platform to print it out. However, as I said before, the time frame that I had and the amount of problems that I was faced with, and also being demotivated through the middle of the project, I unfortunately did not use this. If I could turn back the clock, I would try and motivate myself and make the product, because even if it turned out bad, just having that there, and because I am going into graphic design, producing something like that would have been helpful, and I would have known how to use it and what to do. I also spoke about the locations. So the locations here, unfortunately, I didn't use Kew Gardens because it was a very far place to get to, and it was extremely expensive for students. So I use Regent's Park for the nature and flora shots. I also use Barnet and Southgate College for the photography studio shots as well. So if we come out of this folder, I also have my schedule. My schedule was a way of me recording all of the day-to-day tasks that I intended to do. Also, this was a record of all the formative deadlines that I had. As a visual person, this was perfect for me, because I get to see what needed to be due, what needed to be done for a certain time frame, what I need to solely focus on. So this was perfect for me, and being such an organized person when it comes to projects as a whole, this worked amazingly for me. So as you can see, I treated this like my child, because I have got loads of stuff in there. So for example, the photography exhibition, entering my work into the creative conscience competition, and getting the main source of website feedback as well. So if we go into problem solving, this is where I outlined all the theoretical problems that I could be faced with and the actual problems that I was faced with. So this project, honestly, I had so many problems, and I just want to say a big thank you to my personal tutor, Sonia, who gave me the motivation to continue my project. I don't think I would produce such a professional product, or I should say products, if it wasn't for her. So I want to say a big thank you to my son. Yeah, so time management was an issue. Shooting at Box Park was an issue. We did have a lot of distracting elements. It was mostly cyclists. We did have a few drunken, disorderly men try to get featured in our work, which was really weird. We also, because we were filming on a main road, well, not a main road, this was a road which was a shortcut, so a lot of vans and a lot of lorries were going through this way to go to the warehouses, so we did have to stop, start when filming. We also had a room mix-up. The room mix-up, I intended to use the lecture theatre to film my studio shots, which featured Jade and Priscilla. However, because of the photography, students, as well as myself and Charlotte, double booked that room, I had to use the studio room. However, this did work in my favour because the shots I took were absolutely amazing and conveyed the meaning behind my product amazingly. So yeah, I have got loads of this, and the last problem that I was faced with was misprinting of the stills as well. So if we come out of this, I can go into my research folder. My research folder, I've got a range of documents. So I have got my model's profile, which is also featured in my research report. However, these are the models that I intended to use. And I found all of these models on Star now. So within my research report, as you can see, this is my favorite part of any project, just doing research. So there is a lot of pages to be loaded. Just wait for them to load. Yep. Okay, so I have my workflow on how I intend to create my product and how my thought process will be. My primary research, I have a range of primary research, and I'm really glad about this because last year I didn't have that much of a range. So because this is my final major project whilst being at Barnet Southgate College, I wanted to have a range of primary research. So I've got the 2 exhibitions that I went to, and I said how this helped me refine and also solidify my idea when it came to creating my exhibition. So the tone and theme the mood and tone, played such a big part when viewing the Leeds Museum. It was very empty and it had like a very cold and eerie atmosphere, which I didn't really like. The Tate exhibition, however, had a very close and intimate style of an exhibition, and this is what I did want to employ when creating my own exhibition, so I did take this on board, and I did really like this exhibition as well. And it featured a video, so seeing a video in a dark room also gave me an idea on how I should light my video when being shown. However, the natural light did work in my favour when showing my video because it was a very dark and gloomy day. I didn't really need to use any lighting equipment nor block out any windows. So this is the surveys that I done on Google Forums. I also use an app called Vegan Aminos. I do have a large following on this, so I did get a range of feedback on this. as well. I also created my own online forum on here as well. Oops. This is where same element on how I would like to, when I created my website, I did employ this in this app as well. So this was a safe space where everybody could talk about their body confidence issues. Yeah, so if we go down to secondary research, oh, this is the contacts for my project. This, I created a WhatsApp group chat for all of my models and crew members, so we know when to shoot, what to wear, and etc. So yeah, this is the Instagram voting polls that I conducted. I have a high following on Instagram, so I got an amazing amount of feedback from them, which I'm really, really happy about. So as said before, I have the model profiles here. I do now have did not show because the majority of them did not show and the majority of them did not get back to me. So I resulted in using just my close friends around college to feature in my PSA ad. So secondary research, there once again Little Mix are being shown. I did conduct a wide range of secondary research as well and watched a vast amount of participatory documents and seeing it from a plus size woman's point of view, seeing it from a slim person's point of view, seeing it from a range of body shapes point of view, because I didn't want to solely focus on one because I just think that's just unfair because no one has the same body type, especially in this day and age. I also conducted BBC and E4's targeted audience, and this gave me a huge insight into how and where I would put my work if it was being shown on these channels. Moreover this, I also conducted modes of address research. And now I've done similar products. This is where I spoke about my flyers and also my tickets, but I said before I wasn't able to do this. I also done color palette research as well, which gave me a huge insight on how I should use color, which connotes the meaning and how it can affect the target audience. So my mood boards, I have two mood boards. I have my colourful mood board and I also have my black and white mood board. As my PSA is split up into two segments, I've got the black and white, which is using very dull, dim colours, which can also have an impact onto the audience. And then I use the colourful mood board, which has more empowering and uplifting and also has use of typography as well. I also done location research. As I said before, I intended to use Kew Gardens as a shooting place, but I wasn't unable to do that. And Regent's Park is where I shot the majority of my naturistic elements. So Box Park as well. And also I done experiments. So I done some test shots and I also conducted a manual focus experiment as well, which is featured on my Wix website. So because I do want to go into the graphical and artistic style for my higher education course, I focus primarily on photography and artwork between different artists. So I looked at Marion Belensky and her way of using colours and different ways of just creating a simplistic face, and the colours that she used also conveyed the emotions that were running through that person's face as well. So you can see like the dark tones here obviously convey that this person is obviously crying or obviously hurt. And also I tie this into editorial styled makeup, as if I intended to do this project again, I would like to do an editorial styled makeup look and have the person rubbing it off their face. So for another person, I use Jessica Walsh. Jessica Walsh holds a special place in my heart. She helped me find out that I would like to do graphic design because she is such a big influential figure in this industry. So I analysed her Millie Fashion Week collection in 2017, and she used the same aspects that I would like to apply when doing my PSA ad. And lastly, Frida Kahlo. Frida Kahlo is a very, very controversial artist. She also holds a special place in my heart because she thinks outside of the box. And as much as this painting that she painted is quite off-putting to look, it also shows growth and being reborn again. And this is one of the messages behind my project as well, analysing it more deeper. So for production paperwork, I done the audio aspect. So I analysed different types of music and different types of genres. So I done hip hop and R&B, house as well, and also I conducted an audio workbook where I analysed it a lot more deeper. So Kanye West Flashing Lights is a hip hop and R&B styled music video, and I also spoke about the different equipment if needed and the direction and description of use as well, and if there was vocals used. So my experiments, the experiments I done, I made a 5-shot rule video. The 5-shot rule gave me a humongous insight on how I should creatively use different types of shots to convey the same meaning but have different shots. So for example, just using the one close up, it is quite interesting to do, however it will be quite boring to watch. So having a range of different shots implemented in my PSA ad gave it more depth, and also it made it more interesting to watch per se. Also the money heist one as well. And lastly, as I said before, I entered my work into the Creative Conscience competition, and I have the receipt and also the confirmation email. So now I'm just waiting to hear back from them and see where I am placed, if I do get placed. And I lastly have my evaluation. Audience feedback. I conducted, as I said before, I didn't want to solely focus on Google Forms, so I didn't use Google Forms as much as my last project. However, at the beginning of the project, even though I did not get that much feedback, I did use vegan aminos as well. So it was just really finding out who am I targeting, what gender I'm targeting, the age range, the job status, and from the job status I was able to link it to the social demographical grade, find out if they watch documentaries, what have they watched, and also link it to my own work, if there is any empowering documentaries for body image. At this point, I did believe that I was producing a documentary, however my idea did change 2 times, because I didn't produce a documentary, I produced a public service awareness ad. And I also found out how long they stay on social media, because this does play an impact into body image, as we do tend to glamorize certain body types on social media. I also conducted a focus group here, which was how I should create my website and how I should have it laid out. So I did ask a few class peers for this. Also, I still say to be featured in this. And lastly, my final rough edit feedback. So I asked them a range of questions. For example, was the message clearly conveyed throughout the video, as this did play a huge part, because if it wasn't, I would have to analyze and think, why is it not being conveyed clearly? And a range of other aspects as well. The main one was, what was it, audio. At this point, I was unable to layer the audio properly and play smoothly. So I did, after the half term, ask my audio teacher Nick to help me link and audio dub the audio to play properly and correctly at the same time. So my reflective journal is a large document. Okay. Which helped me outline the problems that I was faced with, how I can overcome the problems, if I was faced with any, what I'd done in that lesson, and also helped me analyze my problems and skills as well. And if I did acquire new skills, how can I employ that in my own project as well? Also, this featured light bulb moments. So in this stage of my project, I wanted to have the words written on their bodies, and this will be a great way of showing pain and sadness. So I said I'll need to research more into Jessica Walsh's style and typography on how she used this as well. I also featured some part of my problem solving log in here. And the final version of my poem that I created. I do create poems as a hobby, so I didn't find this poem to write very challenging to do. I just sat down on the train, just put my music in and just watch people go by on their day-to-day lives, and I was able to create this poem. So lastly, my paperwork. My paperwork I have for peace sake, because it's just so many documents in one place, it can be muddled up. So my paperwork, I've got all my paperwork in here, the act to release forms, call sheets, location, recce, risk assessment forms, and my documentary script. So for my call sheet, I've got 3 call sheets. Location recce, I've got quite a few because I did go back and shoot there and stuff like that. So for my exhibition one, I just took a range of pictures. This is going to take a while to load as well. So on this day, Sonia and I analysed and went down to the Tudor Hall just to see how we should lay out the Tudor Hall. As I did state before, I did want something quite intimate and close. So we just looked on how to creatively employ these mode and themes into this place, really. I did dress it up really, really well. So I did have fairy lights coming around here, the chairs and everything were moved, and I had my photography on the corners. So when people did walk in, they were just submerged in body powering imagery, I should say. I didn't use the stairs because this was a main risk, as someone could fall down. So majority of my belongings and excess items were left up here. And my work was shown here, and Elizabeth's exhibition was shown on this side as well. So one of the potential problems that we did realise was natural lighting. As I did state before, because we were viewing the Tudor Hall on such a bright sunny day, we did come up with the solution of getting black paper and blocking out the natural light. But because of my exhibition was shown on a dark and gloomy rainy day, I didn't have this problem to be faced with. So if we go onto my product, my Naked website, I wanted to keep my website very, very simple. From all the research that I gathered, the younger generation, also tying in the older generation in this, they would like something very simplistic, very easy to use. So I did feature a minimal amount of photos on the homepage, something that just was eye-catching and also conveyed the meaning properly. And I named all of them. So as I said before, I have my exhibition advertising page. So I had all of the, what's going on here? Okay. Oh. So I had all of the little icons which I employed from researching into the V&A Museum, as they use little icons to show the time, the ticket, if the admission is free or not, like little direction banners. And I do believe that this will be quite useful. So let's say I had someone who's not too good at English, they can refer to the little icons to help them. So I did conduct audience feedback when viewing my exhibition. So I created a little page which just asks them for their name, their surname, their email, how was the experience, and also tell us more. This was linked to my Google Mail. So as soon as a person finished responding to the feedback, it would go to my Google Mail, and I got over, I believe, 30 responses from this. I did have a QR code which was linked to this website, so it was easy for people to refer to. So my body confidence page. Within my body confidence page, I have the poem which I created, and also the promotional video that I created as well. Also the online forum. The online forum, which only has one segment so far, is what's your body image story. So I said mine, and I did get quite a few feedback from young girls, but not as much as the vegan aminos one. And lastly, on this website, I showcased all of the work which was also shown at the exhibition. So if people didn't have a chance to go to the exhibition, they can view the website which had all the work being shown as well. I also named them. So this one here is the invisible one. So being invisible, being sad, you know, in pain for the disgusting words written on them. This is my favorite one, and I took this one as well, and I'm really, really happy that I did. And then we have the Radiant collection. The Radiant collection is all of the colourful shots and also naturistic shots that I took as well. So it's taking a long time to load. So that's that with the website. I opened up 3 at the same time. So yeah, now analysing my project as a whole, I would say the favourite shots that I used, from feedback, the shots used was the naturistic shots. So if I play that,
Breathe.
This here, from feedback that I gathered, was very calm and very tranquil, and also gave the chance for my viewers to think about the use of being on social media and how you should actually love your body, I should say. And also, one of the bloggers said that just having this here is very calm and very peaceful, and just, as I said before, gave her an opportunity to think as well. My favourite shot is the flowers. Having this slowed down just also was very peaceful and very beautiful to look at. Yeah, so just having that there was very, very peaceful. In terms of audio, I did create the drone effect alongside my audio teacher using GarageBand, and also I found the heartbeats audio on freesound.org, as well as for the naturistic sounds. All of this was taken on a shotgun mic and my iPhone when we were at Regent's Park. However, the bird singing I did not use, but the waterfall and the trees, I believe there's trees in here somewhere, like wind blowing, I did use the shotgun mic for this. So overall, I do believe my work was successful. It clearly conveyed the meaning behind what I was going for. It clearly employed some of the similar products, codes and conventions. For example, Jade here having the words written on her body that she has been called before, or some of them. Yeah, what went well when shooting was working with people who understand the professional background of being on such a tight time scale and a short space of time. They were able to snap back from being very jokey and very funny into professional mode, which I did admire with my models. As I said before, if I would have liked to do this again, I would like to use a range of different body types. I would have liked to include more plus size women and also more slim and petite women as well. Yeah, so thank you for listening to my final evaluation presentation.